What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you one of the toughest running plays to stop in Madden 19. Now, I've been showing a lot of running plays as of late, ever since they kind of updated the game and made running easier, because while some of these running plays were still good at the beginning of the year, they're just a lot better now because the blocking is better and, things of that nature. It's a little bit easier to run the ball. And the play we're going to look at today is in the single back ace formation. This is a run that's really been solid for the past three Maddens. Madden 17 and 18, it was pretty good. And it's still just as good again this year. And that is the wide receiver quick, kind of a gimmicky run. Now, there's a few things we got to really focus on when it comes to this play. Number one, we have the two other plays that play off of this with the PA fake quick and the fake quick halfback dive, which we'll kind of go over a little bit later in the video. But right now we're going to talk about the wide receiver quick. So there's some things you need to consider when running this play. Number one, your two outside guys. Okay, those are going to be the two guys that run the quick. It's a symmetrical formation, so you can flip your play to run it to either side without them really knowing which way you want to run it until you are snapping the ball. You want to make sure, obviously, to have two fast guys on the outside, 90 plus, 92 plus speed. If you can get guys that have good spin, that is going to be a plus, because the spin move is so overpowered this year that a lot of times on the outside you're going to have opportunities to get one-on-one and spin people, and if you can execute that spin, which is very easy, you can turn a lot of these plays into big gains. But, I mean, it's hard to find guys in the regs that have both good speed, good spin, and also are decent wide receivers. In Ultimate Team, it's a little bit easier. Another thing you got to keep in mind is the run block ratings of the outside wide receivers, because you're going to be running to one of their sides. So one of these guys is going to have to be able to hold a block on a cornerback each play. So look for guys in at least like high 50s, low 60s run block. If you have guys that don't have good run block, it's not going to work as well. So those are all things you have to consider. Now, what you want to do when you come out in this play, you want to kind of assess the defense. Like right here, the defense is a little bit more favored to the right side of the field. Pretty much because we have this DB right here in this little slot area, whereas over here, we don't have that. So I would run this to the right side here, just for the best, results. Now there, see again the spin move. I mean, like right there, that wasn't good blocking by a wide receiver, and we almost scored a touchdown because it's so easy to fake people out. And that's like one thing that goes hand in hand with this, because there are going to be sometimes, you see here, we cut it up the gap. You have to kind of just watch how things, you have to be able to make a quick read on this play. It's not a hard play to run, but you got to make a quick read. If you see the gap open up like that, you take your easy yards up the gap. Otherwise, you go outside. So you see here, like, as soon as we got the ball, we can see that right here, I probably could have maybe still got to the outside here, but we see that this Ravens defender is kind of setting a hard edge for us. And we have this huge gap here. So instead, I just took it up the gap, and I got my easy, 6-7 yards. And that's what you want to do with this run. But a lot of times you are going to be breaking it to the outside. It just really depends on how your block's set up. So here we took it outside, make a guy miss. If that guy doesn't catch us from behind right there, it's a touchdown. So it is a very, very consistent run. It's an annoying run to stop, especially if you start mixing the other plays in with it. You see here how Robert Woods is holding that block. Again, you make one guy miss and you're talking touchdown. Like, these guys don't have the best spin in the world, so I prefer to juke with them. But, spin or juke, they're both really effective this year. Spin is just a little bit better. Now, you see right here, we get the ball. This is something that happens a lot on this play. The pursuit angles aren't very good. Like, as soon as we touch the ball, this guy kind of starts heading upfield, which maybe isn't the worst thing in the world, but if he would have kind of came at a better angle, he probably could have limited us to some, smaller yards. He probably should have attacked a little bit further down, and then these guys could have came over the top. But the pursuit angles are kind of bad. They give you easy yards, and you see here that Robert Woods is holding his block because he's a decent run blocker. If we had a bad run blocking wide receiver there, we could get block shedded and, possibly not get many yards. So that's why the run blocking is important. Again, pay attention to the defense here. The defense definitely looks to be favoring the right. They're shifted more to the right, so we're going to run it to the left and hope for the best. Now, you see there, I took it outside even though there was containment. I probably could have got 5 if I didn't spin there. That wasn't like a smart place to spin. But something I want you to note is, again, you see how this guy set the hard edge? Like, I would have been better off cutting this up this gap here. But because he set that hard edge and I still took it outside, the block usually will hold up, but I had to go a lot wider here. And then I tried to spin this guy out. So instead of getting maybe 5 yards, 6 yards, I got 3 yards, which isn't a terrible run. but just keep that in mind. Now here, goal line, you're never going to see goal line in a real game in the middle of the field. I wouldn't really run this on goal line, but you can run it on goal line, as you can see. I mean, we got a big game, but obviously if you see goal line, you audible to something else. There's no reason to run the ball on goal line. See here again, showing it again. Let's see if we can beat, the goal line again, and we do. We, get a touchdown, but typically I'm never going to run on goal line, even though you can be successful with it with this play, because too many times you'll get hit in the backfield, and that's just not worth it. Here, like, obviously if you see something like this, you should be able to gash this. I mean, you can go up, like I said, up the middle, whatever. We really should have took that outside, but the middle was so open. It actually would have been better taking it to the outside, which is kind of crazy, because the middle should have just got gashed, but it is what it is. See here again, the gap opens up in the middle. We take it, we get about 15-20 yards. So you don't always have to break it to the outside. You just always want to try to go to whichever side of the field is more favorable. I find that the run is just a little bit, it seems a little bit better to the left. You see, Cooks doesn't have a good spin. If he had a good spin, we fake him out and we're gone. I would have been better off juking, because these guys don't have great spin. But you need at least like 88 spin. That was just, again, bad by me, but we still got decent yards. But you can see it's very consistent. The blocking holds up on both sides of the field. You can go to either side. And then, like I said, we're not even mixing in the other plays with this yet. You see here, like, these guys juke so much better than they spin. There's, like, no point to spin with them. So let's back out and let's start talking about some other stuff now. You can clearly see that the wide receiver quick is good. Now, is this a run that I would, like, spam all game? I mean, if you go up against someone that can't stop it, I mean, that's on them. It's not the hardest run in the world to stop. It's just annoying, but you can build an offense around this out of the single back ace. The single back ace is a pretty good formation, but for me, this is something more. When I use the Patriots playbook, it's a mix-in, so I don't really build around it. I just kind of throw it in there against people on certain downs. Now let's look at the fake halfback dive. And before we get into this, you might be asking what playbooks are this in. I don't think I covered that. It's definitely in the Patriots playbook, which is the best playbook in the game in my opinion. But this isn't a ton of playbooks. The Eagles, the Raiders, the Rams, the Cowboys, the Colts, the Titans, the Bills. That's just off the top of my head. It's in all those playbooks for sure. It might be in a couple others, but so it should be in one of the playbooks that you like. So now we got the inside run. It looks the exact same as the wide receiver quick. But the thing is, the inside run is definitely not as good as the wide receiver quick run, but the threat of the wide receiver quick run is what makes this good, because you're going to have people a lot of times, especially people that aren't as good, they're going to be, spreading it out their guys. They're trying to stop it because they think like, all right, he's going outside. And then if they do that, it's all about timing, when to switch it up, when to call it at the right time. You're going to be favorable up the middle, and then you can gash them. And this type of run right here is not one you have to pull out that often. You pull it out every once in a while. Every once in a while, you pull it out just to keep them honest, just to keep them thinking like, oh, he could run up the middle and get these easy 5 yards, maybe more. If you got a guy like Gurley, you truck one guy, you go for a touchdown. But they're thinking like, man, if I don't at least keep some guys home, he's gonna just gash me up the middle. And that is what's going to keep them honest and make the outside that much more open. You see here, I mean, they have a stacked box and we still got 6 yards. It still is a good run. It just doesn't have the big play potential as the wide receiver quick. Make sure not to like try to spam turbo on this. Try to just, maneuver with the joystick. If you hold turbo in that backfield, you're going to, cause block sheds to happen, and you don't want that. So just try to maneuver through. This is not a home run hitter. It can be. I mean, as you can see, you can get big yards with it, but this is your keep them honest run. Go get your tough 4 to 5 yards up the middle. Make them think about it. Make them have to keep guys home, or else they're going to get gashed by, a good running back. So that's one thing. Another thing that happens when you run the wide receiver quick is you get their user out of position. So if you've run the wide receiver quick a few times, especially if you've been successful, as soon as they see this motion, this is what they're going to do. They're going to start favoring that. They're going to run with their user like this, and then they're taking them completely out of the middle of the field. And that's what most, decent players are going to do, because they see the quick and they're like, okay, I have to respect it. I absolutely have to. So what I did with my linebacker here, as soon as I saw that motion, I immediately start running outside. Now, of course, I can recover. If I was in game, I would recover a little quicker than that. But I'm using both of the controllers here, so it's kind of hard to. But even if you recover from this, you're still taking him a little bit out of the equation, leaving the middle open, and you're just taking one guy out of the box. Another thing you're doing is you're ensuring that user can't shoot the gap and hit your running back in the backfield. Because a good user, if he's expecting to run, he can time it, shoot the gap, and hit you in the backfield. But because the wide receiver quick, just like in the real NFL when they run like fake reverses and then they hand it off to the running back, the defense has to respect the threat of that sweep on the outside, especially from a speedy wide receiver. So you take him out of position just enough to ensure that he can't shoot you in the gap, and you're going to get at least a few yards up the middle. So there are two runs that play really well off of each other because they attack, one attacks the middle, one attacks the outsides, and you can't stop both at the same time, so you have to respect them both. And then last but not least, you do have the play action play, which isn't the best in the world, but again, it's just a keep them honest type thing. You're not really running this to try to get big yards. Basically, you have the quick motion route, which is going to turn into a wheel. If they run man, a lot of times this guy will dust man. Against zone, he'll usually find like a hole on the sideline. You have the underneath guy, Cooks, or if you flip it, it'd be Woods. Just depends on which side you want to run it to. But you have, your little check down over the middle, and then you have your two vertical routes. But they're going to be thinking run, maybe blitzing extra people, maybe selling out to stop the run. You mix this in every so often, and again, you're just keeping them honest. You're just keeping them honest. But look, you can still get big playability out of this. So it's like I said, it's all about if you work it together as a scheme. You have the wide receiver quick, which is like the thing they have to be most fearful of. They have to worry about. You see, like extra people are blitzing here. All right, we hit the drag over here. We're still getting huge yards, but the wide receiver quick, they have to sell out a little bit more. They have to worry a little bit more to stop that, and because of that, that opens up the other plays and just makes it a headache for them to have to stop. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, as always, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.
One.